Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to turn this into this, and it's going to let you do this. To get started, we're going to start with a plane, and typically start with a cube and delete it, but we're skipping ahead a little bit because it's fun. We're going to subdivide it now. So for this is going to be like a really simple example texture roller. This is one that I had found. Somebody requested on Reddit a while back. I'll have to figure out how to link them or give them credit for this. But this is just something I made to, I really like the pattern. I think it would look really great on ceramic. So you can see here I'm insetting. If you inset once, it's going to do the outer edges. If you inset, hit I twice, you can do the inner edges. It'll do each individual square. And you can see that I'm insetting it once more to come in. And we are going to bring that up into a pyramid shape. And so, I'll explain a little bit more in depth later, but this is, if you want your final texture to look like this, it's going to have to be the reverse side. I'm sure most of you understand that concept. I'm not going to go too in depth. Here you can see me failing initially. I think it's really important for these type of videos to show failure because you can't always have it perfect. You can't always make perfect videos. And I think that's a common thing, an issue I see with a lot of content creators I watch. They don't really talk about failures and figuring things out as you go. Yeah, no matter how many times you've done it, how good you are. I like to consider myself, I guess, intermediate at Blender, and I still have to look at things all the time. So don't ever get discouraged. Take one thing a bite at a time and figure it out. I had to go back and add a secondary loop instead of looping all of them individually. And the reason for this is I wanted to create a middle loop to create I guess in engineering we'd call it a drafting angle. When you cast things, you want it to draft in a way that it pops out of the mold easier, and this just makes it a little bit easier for the texture roller to roll over the clay or whatever you're using it for. You could use this for baked goods, a lot of scenarios. Here I am kind of playing around with the scale of it. You don't want it to be inwards, you want it to be more outwards. And I guess it really depends on how hard or soft your material is. I just went with a mild angle here. And that's what the outside surface should look like once we're done. And to replicate what we want the inside, which is a nice studded look. When I think of this, I think of like bedazzled jeans from like the maybe early 2000s, something like that. But I really like this studded pyramid look, especially for pottery. I think it looks gorgeous. This is another funny attempt at failure. You can see me. I'm trying to extend it because I've done a sample of this already prior to this video, just to make sure I understood the concept again. It's been a while since I made a texture roller. And I was trying to remember how I merged them because I like a larger wheel. I think, there's nothing wrong with a skinnier wheel, but I think with a larger wheel, you just have a little bit more control over pressure, but then again, you also kind of lose stability when it comes to keeping a straight line. But I want a 3 by whatever, as you can see, like probably 15 or so, or something. I want it to be 3 high or wide, and then I can just roll it along like the rim of a cup or a bowl. So I was trying to merge these vertices for a little bit, and you can see me kind of getting a little frustrated here, seeing if they would move or not. And I believe I eventually just do them one at a time. That I think was the solution, a quick solution for this. And I'm sure a lot of the Blender gurus in here are gonna roast me in the comments if they ever watch this video, and that's fine. We just kind of figure things out as we go, and there's, the best way to say it, there's a million ways to skin a cat in Blender. You can do things however you want. It doesn't have to be exactly like I do it. It doesn't have to be exactly like somebody else does it. As long as your end result looks fine, that's what you're going for. Here I'm taking another look at it, see what it's going to look like. as it rolls over. And I'm adding my arrows now. For this, you want to add some empty arrows. I rotated X by 90 degrees. And I didn't mention earlier why I did it, but I doubled up for the fact that I want it to be a bit wider of a circle. And here I'm subdividing it. You can't use Catmull Clark because it'll just make it look weird, so I use simple subdivide, and then I'm going with my simple deform. And we're going to do a bend about the arrows we just added. And it's like, oh, this is the wrong angle. I did something wrong here. So simple fix, just rotate Z 90, and you'll see that puts us in the right ballpark for what we're trying to do. And you could go the other way if you wanted to, but I want to go this way so that my studs are sticking out, and that looks pretty good. I believe I will eventually do this wider, an even wider wheel for the final one. You can play around with it. This is just a way to kind of see, just a general idea of how to make this thing. And so I've duplicated it here so you can see what the pattern is going to look like as it rolls over something. I think it's a good visual representation. And the next step here is to start closing off our ends. And I'm sure there are some really smart, much smarter people than me that know how to do this easier. But I have to, looks like I'm waiting here for a second for things to load because I have so many vertices now. I like to do the faces, and if you do them all at once, you get this you get a lot of funky artifacting and moving it's just connecting to other things. So you have to do one side at a time, I find. So we're going to do that side, and then we are going to come over, deselect, tab out for no reason, just to make sure. I guess it looks okay. That's what we want. I'm going to do the other side, and in X-ray mode, deselect everything else, and then realize you unselected too many of the good vertices, so you have to now undo that, and then deselect again, hoping you get it right that time, and then press F to face, and you should be left with a nice solid model. Another step to add here, I would select all of the vertices and reverse or flip the norm, or recalculate the outside normals, because some programs like 3D printing programs will have a hard time with that if you don't. So I've added a cylinder because we're going to add a little hole through this thing, and you can line it up in you can try to line it up manually, but the easiest way I find is to Shift S and selection to active. Make sure that geometry is origin set to geometry on the roller that you just made, and it'll line them up perfectly instead of having to eyeball it. And here I am adding a subdivision subsurface on the cylinder to have a nice smooth inner circle. And then I'm going to play around here with my rings to get them pushed out so we have a good circle, and then try to inset again, and eventually give up on grabbing the correct one and just realize I can add another ring to push it out even further, which is what I'm going to do here. And that looks good enough. So now we are going to add a Boolean modifier. I should have done fast, but I clicked exact. So let's speed this thing up. All right, we have now got it going. We applied it, and now we have a nice circle. And from here, what you're going to want to do is, that's my cat, Kitty. You want to export STL for 3D printing, and I will show you those settings here in a second. You want to make sure that you have selection only. You're going to be using scene units, and I like to scale by 10. It just makes it a lot easier for for the part to import into the 3D printing software, I use Bambu Studio. And then once you're in Bambu Studio, you can adjust the sizing and scale however you want. I like to make my roller, like for this roller, I made it like about 1 inch wide. Here in Bambu Studio, you can see that I've actually edited the model a little bit. I beveled some more edges, made it a little bit smoother, made the diameter a little larger, and I have my settings set to optimal. I'm using PLA plastic. I like to do that for any kind of prototype or textural or print. I have my support set at 25%, or strength at 25%, no supports, and I think my walls are set at 2. I had it sent to the printer, and everything turned out fine, looks great, and we are going to test it here. And I mean, right off the bat, smooth, easy to hold, and you can, put your finger through the hole, or you can make some type of roller that goes through there to push it along, because it really, being that skinny, doesn't have a lot of stability, so you're gonna have to take your time with it. And this is my initial test of it using some Play-Doh that I picked up from Walmart because I didn't have any clay made, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. I think it looks great, and you could probably make it a little deeper maybe, or adjust how fast you roll it, or how much pressure you're adding. Overall, really satisfied with the print. Everything came out great, and I'm excited to use this on my next pottery project. If you like this video and it helped you in any way, or it could help you, please give us a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribe if you dare. I know Felix would really appreciate it. Thanks.